Jesus tells us a very brief parable. He says that everyone who hears his words and acts on them will be like a wise man who built his house on the rock. The rain fell and the floods came, and the winds blew and slammed against that house. The storm came, and yet it did not fall, for it had been founded on the rock. Now, secret number 2 for moving quickly through your next storm is this: you are only as strong as what you're attached to. When Eileen and I first started dating, our relationship was rough. We didn't communicate well together. We had massive differences in how we like to do things. We started building a relationship of mutual respect and trust, but it seemed like the tiniest storm could knock us off of our feet and cause us to question everything about our relationship. A disagreement would turn into an argument. Things would be said or not said, and all the trust we had built would just be kind of washed away. And it felt like we were back at the starting point. It was heartbreaking and exhausting at times. Have you ever felt that way? Let me know in the chat just so I know that I'm not alone. Say, I've been there, right? I've been there before. Have you ever invested time and energy into something, a relationship, a business, a dream, only to see all your progress washed away in the storm? You thought you were finally moving forward, but after the storm cleared, you realized you were just back to the beginning. Storms are not sent to destroy you, but they can set you back over and over and over again until it feels like you're not making any progress at all. How many of you know someone who seems to move from one crisis to another? Every time you talk to them, they are in a new storm. And with every storm, their life resets back to zero. They don't ever seem to move forward toward their purpose. Well, for Eileen and I, the problem was simple. Neither of us were equipped with solid relationship building principles. Say, solid principles. We were attempting to build a relationship, but we didn't have a principle-based foundation that could stand through even the smallest storm. So our relationship kept getting knocked down. I drive home many nights in those early days wondering if we were getting anywhere. Maybe you felt like that. You're wondering if there is any hope of moving forward toward your purpose. Well, there is hope. In Matthew chapter 7, Jesus tells us a very brief parable. He says that everyone who hears his words and acts on them will be like a wise man who built his house on the rock. The rain fell and the floods came and the winds blew and slammed against that house. The storm came, and yet it did not fall, for it had been founded on the rock. Someone say, solid principles. It didn't take long for Eileen and I to realize that we needed help. We started reading books on relationships. We started gleaning wisdom from others who had relationships like we wanted. We started to gain understanding on how relationships really work. And then we started to build our relationship on those solid principles. And it honestly didn't take long. We started building something that could weather storms. And we've been weathering storms together now for 20 years. But here's my advice. Don't work against principles. There are solid principles that govern the way the world works in relationships, in business, in wealth building, in raising a family. Discover the principles and build everything you do around them. Say it after me. Work with the principles. And when the storm comes and goes, what you're building will still be there. Say, I'm building something that's going to last. For me, my Christian faith supplies me with the solid principles that I'm building my life on. I look for them in the Bible. I ask God about them when I'm praying. I have mentors that have revealed them to me. But where are you discovering the solid principles that will guide you? Remember, you are only as strong as what you're attached to. So choose wisely and get out there and build something that will stand through the storms.